It's 3 a.m. You're staring at the ceiling. Your heart is racing, not because of a physical threat, but because of a thought. A what if? Anxiety in 2026 isn't a glitch, it's the default setting. We are the first generation in history to carry the entire world's suffering in our pockets. But imagine being the most powerful person on Earth. You are responsible for an empire. Your borders are being invaded. A plague is wiping out your people. Your own generals are betraying you. This was the life of Marcus Aurelius. He didn't just study Stoicism, he used it as a survival kit. Today, we're going to look at how he used what I call the third force to stay calm while the world burned, and how you can use it to finally stop your mind from spiraling. To fix anxiety, we have to understand its structure. Most people are trapped in a loop between two forces. Force 1 is the external. This is the world, the bad news email, the awkward comment your friend made, the fluctuating economy. These are the waves hitting your ship. Force 2 is your internal impulse. This is your biology. When Force 1 hits, your brain's amygdala screams, your chest tightens, your mind starts future tripping, simulating every possible way you could fail. If you only have these two forces, you are a victim. You are a leaf in the wind. But Marcus Aurelius realized there is a secret element. Marcus wrote in his journals, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the third force. It is the conscious veto power of the human mind. When an anxious thought enters your head, the third force asks one brutal question. Is this mine to change? If your boss is angry, Force 1, and you feel the urge to panic, Force 2, the third force intervenes. Can you change your boss's personality? No. Can you change the past? No. Can you change your current effort? Yes. Anxiety lives in the gap between what we want to control and what we actually can. The third force collapses that gap. It forces you to stop fighting the storm and start steering the boat. Here is your 3-step third force protocol for when the anxiety hits today. Step 1. The name game. Don't say, "I am anxious." Say, "I am experiencing a thought called anxiety." Marcus believed in stripping things of their power by describing them objectively. It's not a disaster, it's a situation. Step 2. Define the border. Physically write down what is happening. Draw a line down the middle of a paper. On the left, write, "Out of my control." On the right, write, "Within my control." Step 3. The present tense pivot. Anxiety is almost always a future problem. Marcus reminded himself, "Do not let the future trouble you. You will come to it with the same arms of reason which now arm you against the present." Ask yourself, is there a problem right now, in this second? If you are breathing, the answer is usually no. You now have the protocol. You know how to identify Force 1 and Force 2, and you know how to trigger the third force to intervene. But there is a problem. The third force is like a muscle, and in the heat of a crisis, muscles can fail. Marcus Aurelius knew that intervention wasn't enough. You don't wait for the invasion to start building your walls. You build the fortress during the years of peace. He called this the internal citadel. This is the most critical part of the third force philosophy. If the third force is your reaction, the internal citadel is your infrastructure. It is a mental space where the opinions of others, the chaos of the economy, and the fear of the future simply cannot reach. How do you build this fortress? You do it through a practice Marcus called the view from above. When your anxiety feels like a mountain, it's because you are standing too close to it. You are looking at your problems from the ground level. Marcus would mentally zoom out. He would imagine himself rising above his tent, above the Roman camp, above the clouds, until the entire Roman Empire was just a tiny speck on a pale blue dot. From that height, your catastrophic email, your awkward social interaction, or your bank account balance don't look like mountains anymore. They look like grains of sand. This isn't about making your life feel small. It's about making your perspective large enough to contain the chaos. The third force is strongest when it is fueled by this cosmic perspective. When you realize how vast the universe is, the force one, external events, lose their power to shake your foundation. But a fortress also needs to be tested. Marcus didn't believe in a soft life. He believed in voluntary hardship. If you are always comfortable, any minor discomfort becomes a crisis. To fortify your third force, you must practice being uncomfortable on purpose. This is the mental gym. Take a cold shower when you want a warm one. Eat a plain meal when you crave junk. Walk in the rain without an umbrella. Why? Because when you prove to yourself that you can survive minor discomfort, force 1, without losing your cool, force 2, you are training the third force for the big battles. You are telling your brain, I have been here before. I have felt discomfort, and I did not break. Now, we have to address the reality of the journey. There will be days when the third force fails you. There will be days when the anxiety wins, when force 2 takes over, and you spend hours in a spiral. Many self-help gurus tell you to never fail. Marcus Aurelius tells you how to fail well. He wrote, "When you are forced by circumstances to be disturbed, quickly return to yourself." Notice the wording. He didn't say if you are disturbed. He said when. Even the emperor failed. The strength of the third force isn't measured by how many times you fall. It's measured by how quickly you return to yourself. In 2026, the world wants to keep you in a state of perpetual reaction. It wants your third force to be weak, so it can sell you cures for the anxiety it created. But the cure isn't in a bottle or an app. It's in the stone-by-stone construction of your internal citadel. Every time you choose logic over impulse, you lay a stone. Every time you accept what you cannot change, you strengthen the gates. You aren't just trying to get through the day. You are building a version of yourself that can stand in the middle of a hurricane and feel nothing but the steady beat of your own heart. Anxiety doesn't go away because the world gets easier. The world will always be chaotic. The third force is the realization that you don't need the world to be quiet to be at peace. You just need to be the master of your own reaction. Marcus Aurelius died in a military camp, far from home, during a plague. But he died with a smile, because he knew he had mastered the only thing that mattered, his own mind. I'm Third Force Stoic. If this helped you find even 1 minute of peace today, hit that subscribe button. We're building a community of people who refuse to be victims of their own thoughts. Until next time, stay focused, stay active, be the third force.